Welcome to Let's Have a Yarn about neurodiversity. This is going to be just a very brief video looking at what neurodiversity actually is and some of the diagnoses that go along with it, as well as some of the challenges that the neurodiverse face. I hope you find it helpful. Neurological diversity, or neurological difference, encompasses an enormous spectrum ranging from the everyday, such as an individual's preferred learning style, to issues that have major impact on the life of a person and those around them. It literally means a difference in the way neural pathways form in the brain. We are all neurologically different from each other. No two people are wired in exactly the same way, because it is not just DNA that determines how our brains are wired, but our experiences, our environments, and our choices. However, the term neurodiverse is used professionally to describe a brain whose difference is found in more than the superficial wiring of everyday differences, but extends to the foundational wiring of the way a brain receives, interprets, and provides information. There's a whole range of diagnoses that fall under the umbrella of neurological diversity, but some of the more common ones include autism spectrum disorder, or ASD, and this includes Asperger's syndrome, attention deficit hyperactive disorder, or ADHD, and sensory processing disorder, or SPD. There are others such as dyslexia, dysgraphia, dyscalculia, and so on and so forth. In this video, we'll have a brief look at ASD, ADHD, SPD, and dyslexia. Autism spectrum disorder is a different way of neurons forming in the brain. Recent research suggests that not only are pathways formed differently, but there are a lot more of them, giving rise to confusion in the way neural messages are processed. As you can see in this very simplified visual representation, the neurotypical brain has a few strong, well-used connections, whereas the autistic brain has weaker connections, as well as many others leading elsewhere. Consequently, autistic people often have strengths and challenges different from neurotypical people. These strengths and challenges, as with all people, differ not just from person to person, but from situation to situation. The cause of ADHD is not yet known, but there is increasing thought that differences in both neurochemistry and neurostructure are the basis of it. These differences are most noticeable in the behaviours demonstrated by those with these differences. There are three types of ADHD. Predominantly inattentive type. People with this type of ADHD have difficulty in organising or finishing tasks, maintaining their concentration, following instructions, and paying attention to details. Predominantly hyperactive type. People with this kind of ADHD have difficulty with keeping still. They can be fidgety, restless, and impulsive, and they find it hard to take turns. And then there's combined type. People with this kind of ADHD exhibit behaviours of both types 1 and 2 in equal or close to equal measure. ADHD is typified by deficits in executive function. Therefore, it has been known to be called a disorder of executive function. Sensory processing disorder is a neurological difference affecting up to 1 in 20 people. It affects the way a person receives stimuli and can affect learning, social skills, relationships, motor skills, and coordination. According to SPD Australia, it is an impairment in sensory integration, which is the way in which the brain sorts out and organises for our use the many sensations which we receive. In other words, sensory integration is our body's ability to receive sensory stimuli, interpret that stimuli, process the stimuli into a response, and adaptively respond to the stimuli. People living with sensory processing disorder experience a disruption in the brain's ability to integrate and discriminate incoming sensory information. Briefly, the prefix "dys" refers to a dysfunction or something not working properly, and the associated suffix points to the area of the dysfunction. So, dyslexia is difficulty reading and interpreting words. Think of the word lexicon. Dysgraphia is difficulty with shapes, including letter shapes. You think of the word graphics. And dyscalculia is difficulty with numbers and mathematical concepts, and so on. And you think of the word calculations. Many neurologically diverse people face similar challenges. Of course, not every neurologically diverse person is going to experience all of the same issues or similar issues in the same way. However, some of the common challenges they face include executive function, communication, anxiety, depression, sleep, social interaction, and learning. Please have a look at some of the other Let's Have a Yarn videos for more information about some of these challenges and some strategies and tools our family uses to meet them. I hope that's given you just a little bit of extra understanding about what neurological diversity is and some of the diagnoses that go along with it. I'll see you in the next video.